Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Volta OpenONU Go call. Thanks for joining. As usual, the call is public and recorded and will be shared on YouTube, so please be mindful of the comments you make and information you share. So as usual, we have the software update as a first bullet, but given that Theo has started looking into some of this, I would like him to join. I know he's going to join, so we'll get to this a little later. Um, so maybe first, why don't Girish, don't you give us an update on the status of the PM configs and the missing things for the release?
I think we are pretty much done from the PM perspective, but there was, on the BBSIM, I have introduced the FEC and there was another counter. So that was required for testing for Torsten. Yeah, that's done. Yeah, I think we are done. I have nothing more to do there.
Okay.
There was one request from Paul Wagner where the units of the PON optical power, the received and transmitted power levels from the NIG ME instance was in raw data. So he wanted that to be in dBm. Yeah, so that's a minor patch, and I have submitted that last day. And also the OMCI.
Sorry, I missed that. Did you say
go ahead?
You submitted it already?
Yeah, I submitted it yesterday.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, sounds good.
There was one other minor patch to allow configurability of OMCI timeout. Yeah, that's unrelated to this one, but yeah. I submitted a patch for that.
So on that note, there is a comment from Michael. I think he has it. He has the comment there.
Okay, I'll check. There was a request from, I think David raised an issue related to volt cuddle dumping the configuration of the PM config. I mean, the timer value is a number which is presumed to be seconds, but he wanted the unit to be displayed there. Yeah, which I totally agree, but it seems there are some limitations in implementing that. So I did ask David offline. I'll discuss with him, but okay. It's not mandatory to go in this release if we cannot solve that problem.
Yeah, I agree. This one instead, I'd like to have it in the release. So let's push for that one. Okay, now that Theo is on the call.
That's all for me.
Thanks, Girish. We can go back to the software update. So Michael, why don't you start with giving us a last status of your implementation, and then we can talk about the BBSIM side and the testing side that Hardik is taking a look
at. Yeah, one of the things that we were discussing as still missing last week was that the complete download of the image was not yet implemented last week. So I tried to work a little bit on that. And yeah, basically I have a solution for that, more or less private still. I've tested that with some HTTP request to some Atran internal server via the VPN network on my local virtual box. So basically the download itself is working, but we have to discuss how that should be done for the real pods. Or another question would be how we should do that kind of testing together with BBSIM. So this is something that still needs to be discussed to have a solution for that. But mainly the point is that, yeah, it's basically working. And yeah, if I push that in the Garrett review, perhaps together with the removal of the current internal simulation that is still active, then yeah, basically tests on some hardware upgrade could be done. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be great, because we started taking a look at the BBSIM side, and Theo will speak to it, and also we started taking a look at the testing side. So and Hardy can speak to that. So on the BBSIM side, Theo, how are things progressing?
So I have I started working on it yesterday. I have a very first implementation that still has some issues that I sent over Slack. I need to look into the code, because I think I'm sending a wrong parameter in the response for the image section upload, but to reply with the correct parameter. It shouldn't be too much work in BDC, at least for a first implementation in which we don't care about the image details or anything. The question I had was, do we have any concern about what BBC should do to validate the image, if it has to do anything?
I think one thing that must be done in BBSIM is to verify the CRC of the image. Another thing that we could discuss is, this is depending on what kind of image we use for test download. Of course, also if it is known, also the size of the image could be checked. So basically that.
But one quick question: isn't that something that we can check at download time to the ONU adapter, both CRC and size?
Yes, but we want to make sure that the complete image is really downloaded to the ONU as well.
Through OMCI. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
So that will be something like, if I know the image size and I know the window size, then I can know how many download section requests I should get for that image. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. But that would not be the test I would implement. It's also possible, but yeah, I would just wait for the complete download, which is finalized by the end software download command. And then I think you can build upon that the complete image, and then you have the size of the image, and you can compare that size and of course the CSC of that to what is given in the according the CSC, which is given in, I think, the end software download command, and the size must be known from somewhere else per definition or whatever.
It's in the end software download request as well.
Yeah.
So.
How do I know what the correct CRC will be? I mean, is that like a SHA-SUM of the file or something similar?
The ONU adapter itself computes the CRC. It might also be configured from the command line void control command, but that's not the way I'm using that. There's a specific implementation for that in the ONU adapter. You can consider to use it the same, but yeah, you can also consider to use a different approach, because it would be good to have a different way of implementation to making sure that in the end the result is the same in the correct case.
And the CRC is passed down in one of the image download messages of OMCI?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's passed down in the end software download response.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll look into that. I'll probably come back with some question if I have any. Well, for the error, I was seeing the what was it? Section error repeat window once. I haven't looked in the code yet, so I'll probably find my my answer there, I guess.
I saw that you made a comment on Slack, and I answered on that. I think Girish did it as well, and I also put an answer on Slack. So I didn't know your test constellation, but by now I assume that you perhaps test the interworking of the ONU adapter and the BBSIM itself. So you must be careful that the ONU adapter itself still uses its internal simulation that generates all the responses on its own.
Yeah, no, I commented that out.
Okay.
I'm using a custom image. So the first run, I saw that that message that the adapter was basically responding to itself.
Okay, so that's why I said I don't know your test constellation. There might be multiple reasons. Yeah, then perhaps have a look at the comment in Slack first, and some further logs may be helpful in this case.
Yeah, but so basically the section number. Yeah,
it was not the expected section number that was received by the adapter. Yes.
Yeah, because I was just setting it to the same value that I get from the. Oh, I guess I'm not setting it. Yeah, that's the issue. Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that, and I'll probably make some good progresses today. Another validation that I was thinking to add was that is there a time limit for the software image download? Like we start the download if we don't get anything, if we don't get the end software request within a certain amount of time, we can fail the request.
In the ONU adapter implementation, there's still not such a thing. But I showed in the presentation last week that there is a specific constant definition for that, but it is not yet enabled because I didn't want to make any assumption about download timers when I still don't know what kind of images we really download. So
okay.
That's why I still have not really enabled any timeout in the ONU adapter.
Okay, so a first validation that I can do is that in the start software download, I get the image size and the window size, so I can just calculate how many download sections I should receive for the end message is received, and raise an error if I get a different number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you want, you can also implement your own timeout. I'm not sure what really would be a good interval, but if you want to be sure, perhaps something like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. But,
well, I'll start with the minimum amount of validation, and then we can build on that.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Great, thanks, Theo. Thanks, Michael. Let us know when the patch is ready for review or testing. Maybe what we can do is that we can provide an image to Michael so that he can take a peek at your implementation and try it out. He has the most experience here, and we can take it from there. So before we go to the testing, it's a little bit of a point which is similar. You raised a good point, Michael, in how do we bring this image within the realm of Volta. So what you are doing is having it on a cluster that is reachable by the Kubernetes cluster within the Adtran deployment. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It is running from my ONU adapter image in my VirtualBox cluster, and the VirtualBox has connectivity to the Adtran private network, and there's a corresponding HTTPS server that provides the image on the request.
Yeah. So to me, that's fine. Also, to me, in a production environment, I don't particularly care about how it's provided, meaning that it needs to be connected. So for our internal testing, I think Theo brought up a good point. That we can just embed it in a Docker image or just have it in a server somewhere. The value of having it in a Docker image is that the Docker file can be upstreamed somewhere, and it's a little easier, I guess, to replicate the testing environment. Theo, thoughts?
So I think for real images, it's not really a Vault concern where they live.
Yeah, exactly.
They can be in a web server anywhere.
Yeah.
If we need support for testing, what I can easily do is to add the image within BBSIM, and I already have a web server running in BBSIM, so it's trivial to add a file so that we can download it from there. And at that point, it's always the same image without adding another container, just for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Hardik, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fine. To start with, we can have Docker running and more like an NGX server, right? And that will hold up the image, and we can always use that to download it, the image from there, and start using it.
But what do you think of putting it into BBSIM as Theo was proposing? As we do
Directly into the
directly into the BBSIM container. It's just a way of not having another Docker running there.
Yeah, I think that's still okay, but currently the commands that we have, right? So we use it to the voltctl command, right, to download. I don't know if that is going to change, but yeah, I think still we can. I think yeah, we just have to expose something out of it, right?
So the command will only have a different IP address to
IP
download
address,
the image.
exactly. Then we can use it. Yes. Yeah, because currently, even for other purposes, also we are using the BBSIM to mock most of the stuff, right? For the steady server and all those things also. So
yeah,
I think that's fine.
Yeah,
we can.
The only downside of it is that depending on how big this image is, it will increase the BBSIM container size.
Yes,
but that may not be a huge issue.
Yeah.
I don't think for testing we actually need a big image. We just need a random file.
Yes, I think for BBSIM, yes, we can try with anything, really.
Yeah, what I've used so far is a
Sorry, go ahead,
32 kilobyte file, so that is not that big. Shouldn't have that much impact.
Yeah, the one I was using for testing, it was a small file. I don't know how small exactly. I can tell you in a second. It was 190 kilobyte.
I think that's fine putting into the BBSIM container tail for testing. Let's do that.
Yeah, I think that's more easy and quick way, basically.
Sounds good. I'll integrate. I'll add that to my patch, and I'll send that out tonight. A mail with the testing image and the commands to use the embedded software image.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks, Theo. Hardik, do you mind giving us a few thoughts on the testing that you have started putting together?
Okay, I think since most of the implementation pieces are still broken, so from the testing side, I think for now I'm just thinking of a very basic one, like okay, bring up the system, perform a sanity, do an ONU upgrade by downloading and activating the image, and then just to perform the sanity again. And in between, you can do a couple of other validations through like the image list command to just check what is the current status and if that is the expected one. So I think more or less around that. So I think as we move further with the BBCM implementation and the other stuff, maybe I can think of more checks or how we can enhance this. But I think to start with, this much should be okay. Right.
That sounds fine by me. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally fine by me.
Yeah.
Anybody has any thoughts?
Okay.
On what we should do?
Is there a cancel download image? I mean, if there are some failure scenarios supported, we should try and have that.
Fair enough. That's true. We do have a cancel download and cancel activate, but I'm not sure which ones are implemented. Maybe Michael, can you give us some thoughts on that?
I'm not sure if these commands really exist. I've never tested them, so there's also no implementation for that in the ONU adapter.
Okay.
Okay, then that's fine. Yeah, we can look into this in the future. Just wanted to note that. Just have this in the back of your mind. Maybe in the future we can have it when it's supported.
Okay, maybe let me take an action item on that to look at the status of the cancel commands.
And is there anything such that, say, you download the image in the OpenONU Adapter, and there is a certain time during which you should activate, and or will it remain there always? How is that?
I think we don't have a time constraint.
Or what if I keep on downloading the images into the adapter?
What do you mean?
Like I could download version 1 of the image, version 2, version 3, something like that.
That's fine.
Yeah, this is surely a problem. Must be also handled in the future. The point is that you cannot download, let's say, thousands of images. Then you get a size problem. So we must find a way to get rid of the images again, and perhaps also have some automatism for that. But at the moment, there's still nothing like that.
Okay, and maybe we can have a couple of such failure scenarios as well, right? Maybe you try to activate an image which is not there, and yeah, something like.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Hardik, and that's a good point, Kirish. Michael, I think that even if some of those things are not implemented, I'm fine with that. Those are things that we can get to and like complete. This is a first implementation. There needs to be some enhancements as usual for it, so we can get to it next release.
Yeah, that's a big question of the release itself. We discussed that on Slack already. We already had some discussion about improvements, mainly concerning the user interface. So let's say the Volt control commands. And the question is, do we really want, so some of the points mentioned here, I would really clearly see in the background of these improvements and optimizations. So the question is, yeah, if this first implementation now is really something that you want to release so that the customer can already use these commands, or do you better wait for the, let's say, real implementation with the final user commands?
So there's a couple of things. If it's just an issue of the commands, I'm fine with using, because Turk Telecom already uses the existing commands, or existing APIs more than VoltCTL commands, but the result is the same one. For some implementation that they have done to download the image on through BAL, so it's like it's a different way of doing it, but they still done it. So somebody still, it's already using the commands, so it wouldn't be too much of an issue for me. In terms of known issue, if you could say, like the delete doesn't, we don't have the capability to deleting an image on the ONU adapter. We don't have like some of the cancel maybe mechanism, it's not there. We, on that note, we could release more of like as a beta, like we tell everybody that we have it, but that is in its initial stage. It's in it's like we provided, if everything goes right, you're okay. If it fails, you might get stuck into not so nice scenarios. But what do you think?
Yeah, well, that's a decision that the ONF has to do. On the other hand, I wanted to point out that making lots of test efforts in that direction makes not really that much sense if we change the commands and with that possibly also the implementation afterwards.
So the thing is that to me, the test is valuable because the command is just one command that we can easily change. It's like one string in the test. But that the result is the right one, that is what is valuable to me. And it also would allow me to test, allow us to test a future version of the implementation to make sure that we're not regressing. So I think the test is valuable. And also I need to talk very hard with Turk Telecom on exactly how much they're okay with us changing. And how, like if we can take those APIs out, I'm not sure. So I think that at this point in time, it's valuable having the test for the existing version.
Yeah, what I want to point out is that it's fine to have a test, and you can only have, in my point of view, that should be a very basic test only. The problem is that with the current user interface, you cannot really find out if the, let's say, download to the ONU was really successful, if the commitment was done. So there are some points missing that are really connected to the user interface. And that is something that we still need to discuss and to decide in an upcoming release. And the test implementation for that can only base on that afterwards. That's my opinion.
Agreed. It is true that right now, the download and activate are two steps that are completely separate. And in the activate step, it's included the download of through OMCI and the activation. So if either of those, of one of those two things fails, we are going to fail the activation, but you don't know if it's a download of MCI that failed or if it's the activation to the active, from the standby to the active partition, the commit. So
yeah, that's what I wanted to show the last time. It is not that way. The download via OMSI, you won't see the the real behavior, some error or success on the user interface, because this is not displayed in the according available commands. So that's why I wanted to state that you cannot be sure with the actual commands if the download to the ONU was really successful. That is something that we need, of course, to improve in the future. And for that, I think some other additional implementations in the ONU adapter, of course, are needed, but in my point of view, also on the user interface.
Okay.
I think on the user interface on the CLI, there are some things we can change. There are some things that is not super clear to me why we are configuring them, like on which folder we should store it. That not something that the user cares about.
Yeah, that's also one of the open issues, yes. But we have a document where we have a discussion for that, for the changes that we intend to do, and we need to go forward with that.
Is that document on Drive? Just out of curiosity.
So there is a proposal that I put together, which is better than Drive to me, which is just in the Volta Protos.
In the Protos?
Yeah, there's a patch that I have changed.
But Andrea, I don't think that it's what I'm speaking about. I really speak about the document that we have discussed with Amit.
Another document, yes, which is this one.
Because the changes we discussed were a little bit more far going in the preferred changes.
Okay, is that in the same OpenONU folder? I guess I can take it this offline.
It's you can take it from the agenda. Yes, it's in the OpenONU folder.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay. Okay, good. Great. Okay, so I think we have our action items. Michael, for you to upload the patch, for Theo to upload the patch with the image within BBSim and share the BBSim image, and Hardik to start putting together the test and keep it basic enough that it's we are testing what we have, but we're not wasting too much time on it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. One thing that I want to bring up is the flow delete.
Sorry, Andrea.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Sorry, Andrea. One remark to be complete on this side for the software upgrade. I think there's still an outstanding Jira issue for the OMC lib, which we need in case we really want to use the responses from the OMC sim.
Which one is it? I thought.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. There is basically a download the result thing in the MCI lib that is not exported, so we cannot populate the correct ME results.
Yep. Do you know anything about this?
Maybe it's 3828, but I'm not pretty sure at the moment. 3828 question mark.
Chip, are you aware of this issue, or is it something you have in your pipeline, something that it's on your mind? If you're trying to speak, you're muted. Nope.
Sorry, I just came in the room.
So this is a different thing. So the numbers wrong.
We're just the Theo and Michael brought up to our attention that there is a missing OMCI libgo.
It's not missing. If you click on the link, you'll get directly to the point in the code. It's basically that struct. It's a private struct, so it cannot be imported outside of the OMCI package. While we need to import it to populate the result.
Let's see.
So, Chip, quick question. This file is somehow generated, or I can just change it and submit a pull request? Because if that's the case, I can make it, no problem.
Yeah, let's see. I believe it's generated, but if you actually modify anything in the generated code, I can update the generator offline. So
okay,
just to break the loop, so we don't have to worry about fixing something external to the project, and then.
Okay, I'll send a patch.
Yeah. Okay, but please, Chip, take a look at Matteo's patch and make sure that the generator next time fixes it. Keeps the fix, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the. Okay. Yeah, I'll bring that up.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, so on the flow add delete issue, there is a patch that Michael put up. There's a discussion on the sleeps. I'm not gonna just take it here. It's gonna be between me, Girish, and Michael. Michael shared a set of full logs out of a run that shows the apparent issue with the ONU adapter effectively receiving the flows in the proper order, but somewhat reordering them before getting them to the actual processing. So that's just something that we will worry about, and we'll take it offline. On the patch, you'll see some comments regarding the sleep. That is because I am fairly against using sleep as a coordination. Michael has fair points on why that could be needed, but I would strive as much as we can, given that this is a bug, we still have a lot of time. I would strive as much as we can to not have those leaps in there. So let's take it offline.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead, Chip.
Oh, sorry. Now I'm looking at the code.
Okay.
Never mind.
Let's take it offline. Let's not discuss it here. And the action item is really for Girish to take a look at those set of complete logs that has RW core, Volt, OpenONU Go, and all of them, and see if he gets an idea. There is a good analysis from Michael on the thread. And after that, we can decide what to do. But this is not as urgent as other things because this is considered to be a bug, so it can go in after code freeze. Thoughts, Michael, Girish? Anything to add?
Yeah, what I will do with that at the moment is I will separate this delivered patch because it includes two corrections, the one that you refer to, and the other one refers to some problems that we still have seen on the ONU soft reboot behavior. and I will make a separate patch for the corrections for the ONU soft reboot behavior only. So to get our regression tests a little bit greener, and the remaining things might then be the problem that you have indicated before.
Okay. 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 Then, Himani, do you want to give us an update on the alarms? I know that I've seen your patch. I think there is some discussion on that one. Is there any question, any doubt for the group that we might clarify for your implementation to finish?
Yes, I have to basically remove the sleeps from the code. And regarding that, I was just discussing with Michael just before the meeting, and I actually did not get his comment on the review, but I'll need to look at the code changes what Girish has done for the ONU metrics collection, if I can take up that approach. But I guess that would require the changes in FSM, and I need to go through his code changes, what exactly he has done.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions on that, I think you can reach out to Girish. One thing that I might ask is, do you think you will manage to get these changes done by effectively a week from now?
Yeah, the review comments I can resolve, but there are two more tasks which are identified during the review. One is the reconciliation task. That for that I need to create one more task. I haven't created any Jira for this, but I do need to create. And for one, I have created the Jira that is configuring of the audit interval through Helm charts. Currently, I have hard coded the intervals in the code.
So yeah, that's fine. That's okay. It's a nice change. The second one is it should be pretty straightforward. The reconciliation side could be a little bit more complex. One thing that I would like to ask to everybody is if we don't reconcile the alarms, what's the downside? Meaning, if we release 2.7 without the alarm reconciliation, what are the scenarios where we could encounter issues? Does anybody have any idea? Like the adapter restarts. What are the things that need to be stored from an alarm perspective? Because I'm not sure, I don't think we need to store any alarm. We might need to store what requests we made to the ONU or the state that we were in. What's like,
At least it has to be guaranteed that the state machine will be restarted in every case. Also in this reconciling case where we do not go through the whole chain of startup, where we have a separate routine which is coordinating calling of these reconcile functionalities in device handler. Probably would be good to have at least a function as already implemented for several regions or areas, which is called reconcile alarms, and probably the only thing to do there is to restart the machine. I don't know, the state machine, but this would be okay, and then this routine could be called with other reconcile functionality. Something like this.
I think for now that is fine. Meaning we will not reconcile anything. We will just gonna restart the state machine. Is that something that you think is okay, Himani?
That should be okay, because whenever the state machine will restart, will automatically sync with the ONU DB, and then That's what we actually want to do, and then the reconciliation will happen automatically. So we just need to restart the FSM.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
By reconciliation, I'm sorry, Andrea, what were you saying?
I was saying that for now, take this approach, just restart everything, and then we can figure out exactly what we need to store and reload and things like that. But for now, I think that we're fine just restarting the FSM and not storing anything.
Okay. Then I think apart from the BBSIM changes, everything should be completed before 17. The BBSIM changes, because I need to test my code with BBSIM changes also.
I don't have an exact date for the BBSIM changes, but it shouldn't take too long.
It should not take too long, but then I was busy in resolving the review comments and then I was on leave, so I could not complete few tasks.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. The important part is that the task is there, and then we can work on the BBSIM changes in parallel. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thanks, Imani. So the step here is for you to take and finish up the comments, restart the FSM in case of reconcile, and then have the configuration of the audit BIM charts.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. By the way, I completely understood. I thought you needed to test the changes on top of the changes I'm doing in BBSIM for the image.
I'm sorry, I did not get you.
No, when you said I need to test with the BBSIM changes, I thought you were referring at a different set of BBSIM changes. My bad.
Okay, what I was referring to is I have not tested my code till now for the alarm sync and audit. So I was adding that in the BBSIM so that I can test my code changes with BBSIM.
Yeah. I got that now.
Okay. So thanks, Imani. Okay. Holger, do you want to give us a brief update on the reconciliation? I saw a patch.
Yeah, today I delivered a patch for the reconciliation without traffic disruption. So with this patch, the reconcile test suite is running, except the etcd check at the end. But I think Thorsten is already cares about this, and also it is guaranteed that if the ONU were in OMSI was pushed and the MDS check. The data sync check is successful between ONU and adapter, then the ONU will not touched, and there will no OMSI transfer towards ONU, and the traffic can run smoothly, hopefully. Probably we did test for it. And only the internal structures of the adapter are reconciled. So that is working for tag profiles, flows, and so on, and ports. But what is not considered yet is a smoothly or silent reconciliation for PM and alarms and alarming. It is not included yet in this patch.
So what do you mean? You mean that those will always be restarted?
No, actually, as already discussed with Himani, that probably for alarms, for alarming, it is sufficient to only start the state machine again. But for PM, I think we have no measures at the moment for the branch where we have this smoothly or the silently startup. I think Girish, you have already considered reconciliation, but only in the normal startup, right?
What was the question? Sorry.
Before the current patch, we are running through the whole startup sequence, also provisioning the ONU afresh. And I think you have already plugged in this startup sequence, right, for the reconciliation after adapter restart.
You're talking about the metrics manager?
Yes, the metrics manager is, but it is not. The patch has some different approach, calling the reconciliation functions directly at the central point, and
okay.
not going through all these
No. The metrics manager module has its own reconciliation mechanism. It's not plugged into the main reconciliation functionality of the OpenONU Go adapter.
Probably it would be good. You can fill there is already a dummy function reconcile metrics in the device handler. Probably you can put in the code you think should be. Probably only starting the machine. I don't know. But also you have to suppress creation of PM objects, right? You don't have to send the requests towards the ONU. No?
Yeah. Let me check. I somehow missed that. Let me check and plug in my reconciliation functionality to the one that you have.
Probably we have also to relocate the call of this metrics function, but we can discuss this if you have it. No?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take it offline, guys, and let's have it done. But I think it's a minor thing. Maybe it can also be done after we merge this one, because to me, Holger, I think there's a minor comment from Michael, and there's a minor comment from Michael, and it needs a rebase. But to me, it can go in. So maybe Girish, you need a patch on top of that one, but that's fine. Okay. So a little bit of an update from myself. The ONU Adapter Reconcile test with the Turk Telecom workflow has been merged, and we also put it on hardware. So now the Turk Telecom workflow has actually 4 tests, one of which is the test for restarting the OpenONU Go adapter, which is great. And we thanks a lot to Torsten and Hardik for that. And that's done as well. So that's pretty good. It's a nice test we have, and we now have a testing of restarting the OpenONU Go adapter for all 3 workflows, which is very good. Torsten,
but Andrea, I don't know if it is this patch is or this test case is the right position, but we already talked about having some kind of process continuously running traffic through the ONU. During restart of the adapter, if the ONU was already started completely, no?
Yeah, that's a good point. We have not done that yet.
But okay, it should actually it should be no problem, because I've checked that no configuration sent down to the ONU, but to have a test here would be good for future enhancements.
Yeah. That's something we can work on in the next few weeks before the release. I'll make sure to work with Hardik on it. It's something we already brought up, and it should be no big of a deal. But we'll bring it up. We'll make sure it works.
Okay.
Torsten, you want to give us an update on the other tests that you were working on and a few other things in that realm?
Yes, I can do. For the PM counters, I have to say, unfortunately, there is only very small progress because of all the fixes and modifications for the pipelines. So I don't have time to go on, but I hope the next day it will be changed, that I have time to make more progress. Then, another hint I've got from a colleague from Atran. He has the same problem with his timestamp in Kafka bus.
this is -1. That's the second point here. So I don't know who's the Kafka expert here. Maybe someone have an idea why it's or it has a wrong timestamp. Okay.
Maybe I can take this up with. Can you send me some more details, like an example of this, and possibly a few more details offline?
I will try.
Okay, thanks.
Tomorrow. Okay. Thanks. Yes, and I saw that Girish has made a lot of new things in PM data, and hopefully I will come in the next day to write the test and check all the things.
Okay, sounds good.
That's all.
Thanks, Thorsten. Anything else that you guys want to bring up?
Andrea.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey, Andrea.
Why did you scratch the traffic descriptor every line?
Oh, because it's merged.
But I still need to work on it. It is not finished.
Okay, so the ME is done, but the path,
Yeah,
but
ME
there
is
still
done.
needs to be done some work.
Yes.
No.
Yes, sure.
So what's the next step here?
My other patch include trigger, create, set, and delete traffic descriptor ME.
Okay.
So Oscar, is that done based on some further, don't know, user commands? Or is it done based on some internal assumption on the parameters for the traffic descriptors?
Michelle, I didn't understand you.
Yeah, the question was, if you prepare this implementation to really create the MEs together with all the needed parameters, are these internally defined values that you use for that, or do you have an external user configuration where you get these values from?
I will I will use external parameters.
From
I think sorry. Go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead. Mikhail, I think the traffic parameters for this are derived from the meter config in the flow.
Yeah, but we told about that, but I need to talking with my colleagues. I saw we can get these parameters from the flow, but I am not sure. We can discuss this offline.
Okay, I understand so far, and then we will see. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ansgar. Okay, guys, we're right at the top of the hour. Thanks everybody for the work. Let's get this last push done. We still have a week before code freeze, and effectively next week at this call, we will make the final decision on what goes in and what goes out. Remember, if it's a bug fix, it can go in even after the code freeze. So maybe prioritize the features instead of the bug fixes. At least that's my opinion. But everything else, let's take it offline and let's continue the great work. Thanks a lot, everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.